I would apologize, but I don't care. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Hit the Books Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Holcomb.
And I'm Emery Saunders.
And we're here to bring you all the nerdy news you need to know about this week. First up, I'd like to go ahead and give a shout out. Obviously, Nick Marlatt will not be joining us today. He's bouncing around Georgia, trying to help his daughter move.
I think he's actually currently on his way back.
Yep, he had a long day. So we gave him the day off.
It'd be hard to do anything less than that.
But I'm assuming he'll be here for the next episode, so expect that. What episode will you not be here for?
I think it's going to be 2 episodes from now. I'm going to be out of town in Florida.
Yeah, so both of you guys bouncing around the South. Doing conspicuous things. But just wanted to give a shout out. Those Natural Ones, the live stream you can catch on twitch.tv/Those Natural Ones. And of course, follow for updates on facebook.com/Those Natural Ones. They had their first official episode this past week. Now, it was actually starting the second part of their adventure, their Dungeons and Dragons adventure.
Right. If you were one of the few real ones to catch us on the very first episode, you got to see the very beginning of the adventure. But anyone who's probably catching up on YouTube will be catching us in media res in that adventure. And yeah, we will be Assuming nothing goes completely off the rails, we will be on Twitch every Tuesday at 8:30.
Yeah, and I've been tuning in, really enjoying it. The first time I didn't realize that Nick was muted to the Twitch chat, and I thought you guys were just late to starting, but we got that resolved, thankfully, on a non-recorded format, so
yeah,
nobody has to know. But yeah, the second episode seemed to go really well. I didn't stay up for the whole thing because you guys started a little late for me on a work night.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
But I did enjoy your ship/piracy escapades and crashing of said ship.
Yeah, to say that that went well is to say that the story of Police Academy is about a finely tuned police force doing exactly everything according to the book.
Nailed it. So yeah, that's really enjoyable, so definitely check that out if you are so inclined. Other than that, what have you been up to, Emery?
Well, I have been keeping up with gaming more than anything. Comics lately, haven't really been reading much of anything.
X-Men really hurt you, didn't it?
They hurt me deep.
I mean, there's just nothing you can do. It's terrible. It's going to stay terrible.
It's pod people. It's pod people. Like right now,
it's rough.
Like right now, like the big story with X-Men is that they're resolving everyone finding out that they're pod people.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wait, we figured out how you guys keep coming back from the dead. Gross, but I also want it. It's like, yeah, the Eternals, they think they're gross. The humans, I mean, if you're rich and you're nasty, this is exactly what you're looking for. To
Nailed
just
never
die and always be reborn in a nasty egg.
Hot. Yeah.
Reborn in a They keep calling him Egg, but I'm always going to call him Gold Balls. He's always
He's Gold Balls.
He's Gold Balls to me.
He is Gold Balls. It is official.
You get reborn in Gold Balls as Gold Ball Goop.
That is canon. That is painfully canon.
Hickman, why are you like this? Why was this the decision you made? Who raised you?
It makes me happy seeing you as a Marvel fan suffer in some way. Because I have no joy.
Yeah, right.
in the DC world.
Yeah, it's hard to take much joy.
Our stars are literally getting booed.
Save that. Save that. We're going to get to that one.
Back pocket.
Oh, boy.
It's rough.
We are in for a wild night.
Speaking of which, we have a lot of news today, so we're going to try our best to keep the rants down.
Yeah, for the love of God.
For those of you who did tune into last week's episode, it was basically the first half of San Diego Comic-Con coverage. It went rough. We had our camera, our old camera, which I've now replaced out of frustration, overheat several times and lose footage and lose focus. We had YouTube hitting us with multiple copyright strikes for having a little tiny box that shows the trailer for what we are talking about. Again, not the episode or the movie, just a trailer that they produced to promote said products. But apparently that's asking too much, even without audio or anything.
Yeah.
So I had to re-upload it multiple times with multiple edits. And the last one is missing some content because I was just so frustrated I couldn't figure out. It was so inconsistent I couldn't figure out what I had to remove to make it happy because it kept changing its mind on what was causing an issue.
Yeah, YouTube, make up your mind.
Yeah,
Come
it was rough. But obviously we've abandoned the headset mics. There's just too many unpleasant noises and plosives and volume changes going on. So hopefully having the desk mics back will make it a little more enjoyable. We've got some new equipment like shock mounts and stuff.
Yeah,
that'll get rid of any kind of handling noise, so it shouldn't minimize anything like that.
Yeah, we won't have to worry about mics, going a little flaccid.
Yeah.
These ones stay up the whole time.
Yeah. Bringing back the D&D. But obviously, we're not going to talk about any of the stuff we reviewed last week. So if you want to hear about the stuff from the first half of San Diego Comic-Con, be sure to go back to episode 58 and watch that episode, especially the first half, which really covers most of the San Diego stuff. And then we have some nice, enjoyable news beyond San Diego Comic-Con, of course, and it was a busy news week, so there was a lot there.
Yeah, that was a big day.
Yep, and then we ranted for a half an hour about a show that wasn't in the news.
No.
That got cut. We ranted for 15 minutes about Shamalama Ding Dong and his horrid recent movie career.
Shyamalan, for those who aren't already privy to what we do to his last name. Yeah. We went on
we went on multiple tangents that unfortunately lasted roughly 2 hours 20 minutes worth of cut footage and podcast material because A, I couldn't edit it, and B, there are limits. There are data limits to what YouTube and Squarespace and all of our podcast apps will accept.
Yeah, we kind of Thor Love and Thunder do that time.
Yep. So
there's a lot that was cut.
It's a little bit snappy.
Some of it won't make sense, but
if you watch the video, there will be some awkward cuts in there. But I tried to make it as enjoyable and smooth a process as possible. And there, like I said, there is some lost footage in the last episode just because the video camera overheated and didn't decide to tell us, I guess. I don't know. It just quit.
Yeah.
And the indicator light stayed on. Everything else went off.
It couldn't take it.
Yeah.
We went too long.
We were too saucy. But yeah, so you should see a distinct quality improvement, both with the camera and with the mics, and we'll be able to be a lot more consistent because I don't have to watch a timer anymore to give you some inside baseball because there used to be a hard 30-minute software limit to the camera because of tax laws in the EU. Fun fact.
EU, why are you like this?
Yeah. So
come on.
Just unnecessary. why does it have to affect me?
I
do not live in the EU.
You know that podcasting is a thing. Make it easier for everyone, please.
Yeah, very unnecessary. Need to update that law. But anyway, as far as nerd stuff, I talked about this very briefly before we went on another crazy rant last week.
Yeah.
But I finished Hawkeye finally. I'm making my way through the Marvel stuff to finally get caught up. I know I have not watched Miss Marvel yet because I still got several shows and movies to go.
Okay.
I watched Shang-Chi, which I actually enjoyed more than I thought I would. However, that thing is just drenched in horrible CG. Just the worst of the worst CG just everywhere, especially in the end. Like, that last act is just...
Oh, if you
CG blob monsters.
If you think that's the worst of the worst, oh boy. You are...
Well, next up is Eternals, so I'm assuming. I'm going on a limb here.
Oh, I'm really interested to see how long you stay awake for that one.
All right. Ringing endorsement from Emery Saunders. But yeah, well, that'll be next. I expect this week, assuming the edits go as well as I hope they do with the new equipment and new setup. I hope that I can finally sit down and knock some of this shit out because there's just so much just lingering, bothering me.
Yeah, knocking it out in a single sitting.
Yep. That's assuming Witcher 3 doesn't distract me some more.
Hey,
which
stop.
I also have to finish.
Oh my God.
It's so long. It's so long it hurts. I'd rather read the entire book series again than play the game this much. There's too many question marks. My OCD can't handle it. All right?
I'm just going to recommend you a different, better book series.
With that said, let's jump into the news. There is quite a bit of it, but it's all really cool, really fun stuff. So really no filler here. First up, we'll go over the San Diego Comic-Con days 3 and 4 and what those brought to the table. A lot of big Marvel announcements. There's some more TV/animation focused materials coming out of the Marvel announcements early on, and then they really got into the big stuff that everybody is looking for. First up, MCU phases 4 through 6 will officially be called the Multiverse Saga. And they also outlined Phase 5 and 6 officially. And we received a new trailer for Black Panther Wakanda Forever, which will be coming to theaters on November 11th.
Oh. Yeah, I'll just say this about the trailer. It's unfortunate that the real-life tragic loss of Chadwick Boseman is making that trailer hit that much harder.
Yeah.
But that trailer hits hard.
It does. Like, far more than I thought. And let's not forget the most important part. They have classic Namor with wing shoes and all. Now, crawling out of the ocean, I'm assuming.
Oh, those wings aren't on his shoes, boy. Those are on his ankles.
Oh, God, I forgot that's a real thing.
It's like if you go back and watch the birthing scene that they show in the movie, and also it's a little wild that they're depicting birth in a Marvel movie.
It's a little strange.
Yeah, they chose to do it with Namor. Of all the things they could have depicted, they depicted an infant with tiny wings on their feet.
Yeah.
Underwater.
Yeah.
Because we're going full bonkers now.
It's ridiculous. I kind of hope that Namor is the surprise Black Panther.
Oh.
That he just takes the mantle.
Oh.
And everybody's like, what?
Is it just because you want him to cover those wings?
Yes. I feel like they're going to Iron Man 3 it and just have a twist that no one saw coming.
No.
Everybody gets hyped, and then they just do the most unnecessary plot twist of all time.
I'm telling you now, it's very obvious that it's going to be Shuri. Shuri's going to be Black Panther.
Don't mess with my fantasy here.
I have to, okay? I cannot have you sound like you're doing cocaine like the rest of doing cocaine comics.
Yeah, they've had a bad influence on me, I have to admit.
God. Cocaine's getting in your nose vicariously.
Getting secondhand coke. Oh, man. Oh, they depress me. Yeah. But this trailer didn't depress me. At least not yet. I really enjoyed the trailer. I thought it looked really hype. I thought they hit a really cool tone with it, with how they're addressing Boseman's death. At least I'm assuming how they're addressing Boseman's death.
Yeah, it definitely appears as though they're going to be leaning into that and basically making way for like at least a few new characters, one of which is going to be getting their own series.
Yep.
Further down what has, as you mentioned, been now coined the multiverse saga. And my God, do the things just keep stacking.
Yeah, there's so much. There's just so much. So let's go through it real quickly, shall we?
Yep, let's go on through it.
Now, keep in mind that I believe before all this, Fantastic Four is still supposed to come out as the last movie of Phase 4. Is that correct?
It's looking to now be the last movie of Phase 5 or 6.
Okay. I
didn't
recall where it fell, but apparently it's still coming, even though we've seen nothing about it.
It's still coming, but they're pushing that one all the way back with all of the things that is like, we put all of this stuff here in the PowerPoint presentation that we have, so now we gotta fucking live up to all of it.
They couldn't even give you like a teaser.
Not even a little.
Yeah, it's silly.
Like we're trying to get Krasinski to sign, guys. Cross your fucking fingers.
In order. Now, granted, this is over the span of years, so
right.
Like we gotta wonder who's not going to be around for these movies in 2 or 3 years. You know,
there's gonna be quite a few. It looks like
that's a challenge that Marvel uniquely has that no one else has to deal with. They have this huge plethora of characters that have to stay alive and in good standing.
It's like
and not be,
the roster
canceled.
Keeps growing, and if you keep growing the roster, like movies like not one, but 2 different announced Avengers movies have to feature these people, assuming, they all make it.
That's a challenge. It's a big challenge.
That's a big challenge.
I'm glad they're doing it, but I don't envy them. In order, Quantum Mania, Ant-Man and Quantum Mania, February 17th, 2023 is the current date.
Mm-hmm.
Secret Invasion 2023, which will be a TV series. Guardians 3, that will be May 6th, 2023. Echo, which I didn't expect, summer 2023. Loki, anticipated summer 2023. Marvel's July 28th, 2023. We'll see. I hear the show's good. The movie is bad. Blade, which is awesome that it's still coming. November 3rd, 2023. Ironheart, fall 2023. Agatha, Coven of Chaos, winter of 2023/2024, which that one I could do without. I don't know how anybody else feels about this, but I could definitely skip Agatha and probably Ironheart, to be honest.
It's like, I know she had a hit song on fucking Apple playlist, but guys, come on.
Then after that, we get our sweet 18-episode Daredevil series in spring of 2024.
Who's probably going to be sporting way more yellow than anyone expected.
Yep, and then we get Captain America 4 on May 3rd, 2024, and then Thunderbolts July 26th, 2024, and that would basically wrap up Phase 5. Phase 6, there it is, Fantastic Four, which has clearly been pushed quite a bit from being the end of Phase 4 to the beginning of Phase 6.
Yeah, apparently, from what I've heard, this is not going to be an origin movie.
Well, I feel like that may be a miscalculation by them.
I mean,
because Fantastic Four is not Spider-Man. Like, everybody knows what happened to Batman, and everybody knows what happened to Spider-Man. Most people don't give a fuck about the Fantastic Four. I'm just going to be honest. Most people don't know how they got their powers. They just know that there are 4 people with powers, and there's a big rock guy, and there's a stretchy one, and there's an invisible one, and there's one that sets on fire.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong in that respect. That being said, from what I've heard, it sounds like it's most likely, which means it is very possible that they could backtrack on this, given that the two different attempts at being like an origin movie didn't really work out so hot.
Yeah, well, that's because they were made by a terrible studio, so I don't... I think if it's made by a competent studio, it can be done very well.
Yeah, I mean, again, cross your fingers.
Yeah, and honestly, like, it's a money opportunity, right? Like, they can draw tickets in 2023 and draw sales by creating the cast and establishing an origin, just like we did for the beginning of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like, I don't, you know...
Yeah.
And the only one that really didn't have any kind of origin story was Spider-Man. And that's just because he was owned by somebody else.
Right.
Everybody else got an origin either in somebody else's movie or their own movie. So I think it's probably a miscalculation.
Probably. What might end up happening, I think, is that there will be probably references to the Fantastic Four throughout, ones that might not be as on the nose as they did in the Multiverse of Madness. I'm thinking they're probably going to plant the seeds here and there so that way they can hit the ground running when they finally get to their own movie.
Yeah.
But that worked well for Spider-Man with Captain America Civil War.
Yeah.
We'll see if they have the same success.
Let's hope.
Let's hope.
They got to be smart about it. I trust that they will be, but, you know, I'm not saying they're perfect. And then, supposedly, we're going to get the 2 Avengers movies on the same year. So I'm assuming they're going to film them back-to-back, kind of similar to what they tried to do with Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah,
but there won't be that year-long gap between the two. So Avengers: The Kang Dynasty will be the first one, coming on May 2nd of 2025. And then Avengers: Secret Wars will be the November 5th release, 2025. So those are some big things to bring to the table. Honestly, I'm surprised that it's not bringing Galactus in as the big bad, because I figured Galactus would be the ultimate big bad to kind of round this all out, but I don't know.
I'm going to need for you to watch the movie The Eternals and then then tell me how optimistic you feel about them handling Galactus.
Okay. I've heard such things before, so I will trust the statement. But yeah, perhaps they already squandered that opportunity.
I've got some worries.
Oh, no.
I've got some worries, and one of them, like the top one being that there is something that happens in The Eternals that no one has referenced since that movie came out. No one.
Okay.
Not
encouraging.
If the characters that clearly are all happening, you know, in order aren't referencing something that huge, it might be because they're trying to sweep some shit under the rug that didn't work out as planned.
Oh, no.
We'll see.
Oh, no. But yeah, that's basically everything that Marvel announced with their second half of San Diego Comic-Con. So a lot of stuff to look forward to, a lot of content. Clearly, we're going to continue getting a flood of Disney Plus and Cinematic Universe content from Marvel, which is both a good thing and also a bad thing. There's basically nothing else. It's just eating everything. All that is and all that ever was.
That's the thing with Marvel. The way that it keeps working is because none of these comic book movies are just comic book movies. These are movies of like very disparate genres that just have the backdrop of a superhero in it.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird.
Yeah.
I don't want to be 60 years old and still in this version of the MCU with the 6th generation of, costume swaps leading the Avengers.
I mean...
And we're still not to the X-Men.
Oh, God. We might get them in 2025.
Oh, God. Why are you sitting on this cash cow?
Because...
Why won't you use them?
Well, because the comics are going nowhere fast, and...
Whose fault is that?
We're still trying to, let the the bad taste of Dark Phoenix die down.
Nobody remembers that movie. It's gone. It's dead. Just as dead as Fox is. It's dead.
You see, you say that, and here I am worried that we're going to get a 10-year plan for another attempt at the Phoenix Saga.
Oh, don't do it. You don't need to do it.
I'm almost certain that they're going to try to do it the right way, and we're going to spend 10 years watching them. Mind you,
I just want the X-Men. I don't need the space bird, okay? Just
okay.
I don't care.
We're
just give me the X-Men.
Okay.
Let me see them in school, overcoming teenage difficulties and stigmas and social anxiety, and then going off on some kind of vessel to fight villains.
Well, cross your fingers for the possibility that they're still called the X-Men by the time they come out.
I don't like how that sounds.
There have been...
oh, no.
There have been rumors. There have been whispers on the wind.
Oh, no.
That they might be getting renamed to The Mutants.
No. Is it a tie-in to the New Mutants?
Oh, God.
So there's the mutants and there's the
new
mutants. But the
like,
New Mutants came before the mutants.
It's like new. Guys.
All right, we got to move on because there's a lot of news.
Yeah, we could do that forever. Let's keep going.
Next up on the news, we got to our first trailer for the Sandman TV show that will be coming to Netflix on August 5th. This is based on The Sandman, the Neil Gaiman comic, which is amazing. It is one of the several comics that I finally reread and finished all the way through on my comic book sabbatical during COVID. I really like this trailer. I mean, they did some interesting character iconic things that may or may not ring very true to the comic, but
yeah,
the trailer looked pretty hype. I'm pretty excited for it.
There are scenes in that trailer that looked like it was literally the comic book page come to life, and that has me excited.
Yeah.
Them not giving me Matt Ryan as John Constantine has me deeply worried. I'm sorry, he's Constantine.
Yeah.
Literally no one has done it as good as him.
Yeah, it's definitely a misstep there. I don't know. I don't know what to think.
I don't know what to think. Well,
I mean, as long as it's not Keanu again,
right?
I can probably live with it.
But
yeah, Matt Ryan is the best Constantine, and he should be Constantine, and somebody at DC and Netflix should fucking realiase that.
And give him a proper Constantine movie.
Please?
Please.
Save Constantine?
This is just, take the cocaine straw out of your nose for a second and make a good business decision with this man.
Please.
Please, for the love of God. But ultimately, yeah, I'm excited to see where this show goes because it looks like quite literally the most creative show that I have ever seen.
Yeah, it looks awesome. Like I just visually it looks stunning, just like the comic book.
Yeah,
comic book is incredible to read. Like if you appreciate the visual medium of art in a 2D space at any level, Sandman will blow you away. If you have not read it, it is 100% worth going back to. Like, a lot of the stories in the book are very much isolated. You don't need to know all of the story to understand everything up until basically the climax of the series and the end of the series. It is just so good. It is so rewarding an experience to read, and I do highly recommend that if you go back and read any iconic comic run, that be included. It's so good, and I think the Netflix series may do justice to it. May.
I certainly hope so.
I wasn't a fan of what they did to Witcher in a lot of ways. As much as I like Henry Cavill as Geralt himself.
Like they definitely went the Witcher 3 approach. That being said, The Sandman as a show about a character named Dream in a story that features a lot of dreamscapes that actually make me feel like I'm dreaming. This is a dream.
I love it.
I
love it.
This is a.
I had.
Dare I say, this might be a dream come true.
Wow. Gross. Yeah, it looks amazing. I'm so excited for it. I can't believe it's coming so quickly. It's coming August 5th. That's next week.
That's the thing that really
this
shocks
episode
me is that the
may
trailer
not be out by the time this show premieres on Netflix.
Yeah, as of our recording, we're like a week away from this show coming to Netflix, and oh my god, I just got to see that episode 1. The thing that I'm most curious about is what the release schedule is going to look like. Are they going to go the binge route or the weekly release? The weekly release might be the way to go for this one.
I mean, if they already have it filmed,
yeah,
you might as well.
Just
drop it all at once.
Keep. I would say actually stretch it out to keep the conversation going.
Maybe. I feel like people just lose interest, though. I think it's the same thing that happens with like any kind of serialized show. Is they watch 1 or 2 episodes and then they get busy with life,
right?
And then they never get back to it, and they watch 2 episodes, and whereas if you release it all together, like Netflix has done up to very recently, people can sit down and binge it all at once, or they can watch it one at a time, once a week if they choose to. And generally speaking, people have a lot more to talk about if they binge watch it and like are raving about it.
Right.
Whereas if you release 1 episode and maybe it's an underwhelming episode, and then the rest of the series like really capitalizes on that and people never make it to the next episode, you really hurt yourself.
I mean, if it looks as accurate to the comics as it does, I don't think people losing interest is going to be a problem.
Let's hope.
Let's hope.
Let's hope. I've had a lot of faith in Netflix before, and they've let me down a couple times, so they don't always hit the mark, in my opinion.
Speaking of things that don't hit the mark,
Ben Affleck is playing Batman again. Because DC doesn't know what the fuck it's doing. Specifically, Warner Brothers does not know what the fuck it's doing.
They know what they're doing. It's called cocaine. We've talked about this.
I know. They have a problem. But Ben Affleck has been confirmed to be joining Aquaman 2. There was a nice little tweet that Jason Momoa posted with Ben Affleck. I'm assuming behind the scenes during filming. And it's worth noting that he was also supposed to have a planned role in the Flash movie alongside Michael Keaton, also making an appearance. But, of course, as we know, that movie is on indefinite hiatus while Ezra Miller resolves his
life choices,
constant issues. And
it's still scheduled for 2023.
They need to axe it. There's no reason to release this movie. Just put it on your streaming app.
There is
Move on.
There is exactly one reason to release this movie. Sunk cost fallacy.
But you're not building anything. Stop it.
It's already in the can.
Speaking of not building anything, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson showed up to Comic-Con in full costume as Black Adam. It's very cool. Nice gesture. However, during a panel, he was asked who would win if Black Adam and Superman have a mashup in a future movie. And he said, well, that depends on who's playing Superman. And the crowd erupted in loud, boisterous boos. These are the hardiest, the strongest, the most fucking cult-like followers of the DC brand at this panel. And they are like, fuck this. I can't take anymore. And to build on that, during the Shazam! Fury of the Gods panel, director David Sandberg stated that there are no current plans to unite Shazam with the new Black Adam in a film. What? His primary villain is not going to see Shazam ever?
The motherfucker's literally referenced in the first Shazam movie.
Yeah.
That's Chekhov's fucking gun!
It's so bad. They don't know what they're doing.
You don't reference a character in this movie that's supposed to set up this other character and never actually show that character that you referenced in the first one.
It hurts. It hurts, Emery. I don't think I can be a DC fan. It's too painful.
Okay, they need tough love. They need sent to rehab.
They need people to not show up at the theaters for these fucking stupid movies.
It's the only way they're going to learn.
People need to demand better quality from the studio.
It's the only way they're going to learn.
Please, stop going to the theater for these terrible movies. Please.
Yeah.
Support the good ones like Joker. But please.
In Shazam.
Yeah, please don't go to Aquaman 2. If they do release The Flash, don't support their terrible decision to release that movie. Please. Thank you.
Okay, there is one reason why I think they should, and it's related to another kind of problematic figure. So you know what happened to the Morbius movie, right?
It's Morbin time.
A movie that was so lackluster and boring and kind of dumb got trolled into re-releasing in theaters.
You know the sad part about that? Sony made a profit. Because they trolled it back into theaters, they made a profit on a movie they probably would have lost money on.
Oh, see, that
annoys me.
It's still going to be a net win because then we get It's Morbin Time 2. The suckiest boogaloo.
Oh, no. Oh, don't do it. I don't need more Jared Leto in my life, please.
Oh, come on.
I'm done. I had faith in him early on, but I can't stand him. I can't stand him. He's just the worst.
There's a really bad joke that I want to make. Like a really bad one.
Be careful what you say. I have a delicate heart right now.
Okay, you can bleep this one if you want, but
I may die.
Are you sure you don't want another movie where Jared Leto pretends to, alludes to, but is never actually seen vampirically sucking people off?
It's Morbid time.
It's Morbid time.
Yeah, I don't know what DC's doing. It's very disappointing as a fan. I don't know who's supporting this. There was a recent article that I don't know why this brings this up, but it's important. But apparently, bot farms were responsible for generating the hype to, quote, release the Snyder Cut of the Justice League. So the whole movement behind that release,
I don't know how much of that I believe.
It was verified by an independent study. People actually studied this, market researchers. And it was a ridiculous number of bot farms that were trolling people but there was enough support behind it that it actually got fucking wings and took off.
Do it again. Do it again with the Flash.
Don't listen to Emery, please.
Do it again with
He's
the Flash.
He's a terrible human being that enjoys nothing more than my suffering.
Do it again with the Flash and Aquaman 2, and keep the Amber Heard footage.
God, I really hope that Ben Affleck's Batman is just photoshopped into every shot with Amber Heard, and they keep all of the lines exactly the same. And there's this weird, like, semi-romantic tone to everything that Batman and Aquaman say to each other. And you just have Batman, like, floating underwater with his fucking cape, like, over his head.
I mean, there's a weird romantic undertone between Batman and Superman in Justice League.
There sure is.
So, I mean...
Why not?
If we're gonna pull on that thread...
Bruce isn't used to this kind of attention. He enjoys it.
I mean, ever since he lost his booty shorts boy wonder.
Man.
Again, in canon, Jared Leto.
Stop it! I mean, I need Kevin Smith in particular to stop being such a positive influence on people. Because he never has a negative thing to say about anything in superhero media, which is kind of a great thing in a spokesman. The problem is he encourages the worst fucking content. And I need him to stop because studio execs actually listen to him because he's a fucking nerd.
Well, he keeps speaking positively because he wants these projects to keep being made because... Well, the man had a heart attack, and he wants to see as much...
Yes, that's why he should demand good quality from the shit they're pumping out, because he's only got so long to live.
Do you think a man who smokes that much weed is going to be any kind of strict on anyone?
I guess not. I love you, Kevin.
We love you.
You come up like once an episode because we love you.
Yeah, your original movies are always amazing. But god damn it, man. Make some demands. If anyone should be making demands, it's you.
Have some discerning taste, sir. Please.
Or at least...
We're depending on you. You are the spokesman of nerddom in Hollywood. We need your help.
Or at least, you know, if you do have opinions that you're not willing to say, have Jay Muse say them for you.
Snoochie boochies. Next up on the news out of San Diego Comic-Con, we did get a confirmation that is it pronounced Aragon or Aragon?
It's Aragon.
Okay. I never watched the movie, and I only read it, and I hated it. So I never bothered to learn the proper pronunciation.
Aragon looks like what...
Before you go in,
okay.
let me just finish the actual, because people are just like, what the fuck are they talking about right now?
Okay, let's tell them the news about this one.
So Aragon,
Aragon,
Aragon, Yes, we need to put some artificial British inflection on everything. Aragon. We'll be releasing a reboot Disney Plus TV series based on the young adult book by Christopher Paolini. Okay, go ahead. The folks have context now.
Yeah, to give you context for a returning series that we're digging up from the grave since the movie did so well back in the day. Star Wars. Yeah, you're familiar with Star Wars, right?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, then you've already seen the first Aragon movie. From what's been written, like throughout that series, which, from what I've heard, gets marginally better as it goes on. Which, in all respect, this was written by someone who started this book series when they were like 16.
Yeah,
so
he was literally a teenager when he published his first book.
Yeah, I'll give him some leeway on that. That's fine. If you're gonna ape from anyone, ape from the greats.
I mean, this book came out in the prime of like Scholastic Book Fair books.
Oh, it did.
Where Harry Potter kind of dominated.
It did.
There was the Artemis Fowl series, which some people loved, some people hated. There's the Ptolemaeus trilogy, I think, about the djinn. I liked those a lot. Those were pretty cool and creative. And then there was Aragon. And they stuck out on the bookshelf because they were fucking huge. And they had these big, goofy dragon faces on them. So people bought them, including me, specifically the first one. But even as a kid who didn't know much better, reading Aragon, I was like, oh, this is not good writing.
Oh,
I don't think I can read this.
You even knew back then.
Yeah,
you couldn't do it.
It was painful, man. Like it was. I hear it, like you said. I heard it got better, but I don't want to hear that with a book that's like this big. You know, it was thick.
That's a cost of
with
time that you were. We're on cues. Yeah, that's right. There's a thick. Is a thick book. That's a whole lot of reading that you would have to do for a book that you don't already like from the jump.
Yeah.
In order to keep on going with that.
Yeah, and there was an Artemis Fowl series. I don't know what became of it. I don't know if it even got released, to be honest, but that was an okay book series. That was fine.
Yeah.
It could have been better.
I think the question is, who asked for this?
I don't know. The author? He needs money.
I mean, I'm going to be paying close attention to this one and the Percy Jackson series that Disney Plus also bought up.
Yeah.
We're going to see how those do, but man, I'm setting my expectations maybe an inch off the ground.
Yeah. And now I'm going to say this with a grain of salt because I have not read these books since I was a young teenage boy. But the book series I want to see made into a movie series because it's built perfectly to be a movie series is the Pendragon book series. Which, funny enough, has nothing to do with dragons. For whatever reason,
okay.
DJ McHale
Does it
decided to name it Pendragon. So people thought it was about dragons. It has nothing to do with dragons, but it's a really cool concept.
I was going to say, does it at least have anything to do with like Camelot or Arthurian lore at all?
Sure doesn't.
Oh my.
Sure doesn't.
He just thought Pendragon sounded cool.
I guess. I mean, maybe there's some alluding to that in the later books or something. Does Saint Dane mean anything to you?
Not particularly.
Yeah, okay. Then probably not.
Okay.
But the book series is really cool. It's basically about these groups of people that span across a bunch of different worlds. And basically, you start the book, you're just a normal kid. I can't remember the characters' names. The only one I remember is Saint Dane, who's the main villain. But the whole concept of the book is that each world is about to hit some kind of crux that will either tilt society towards destruction or tilt society towards the future where they can live in peace and like have the happy ending, essentially.
You know, that sounds a little too close to real life.
We're getting close to ours. And actually, there are some things that when they wrote this 20 years ago, I'll get to it.
Yeah.
Let me kind of extrapolate a little for you. So basically, they go into these hidden portals, like interdimensional portals called flumes. And you go through this flume to the other planet. It automatically plants you there at the specific time that there's going to be a society-changing event that may destroy the society or maintain the society. And your job is to make sure that whatever that thing is, you don't know what it is. So that's part of the fun. You got to figure out what the hell
it's like,
is
what
going
am I doing
to be
here?
the thing that tips the society into destruction mode. You have to figure it out, push them in the right direction if you can, and also prevent Saint Dane from doing the opposite. And generally speaking, St. Dane somehow knows what that crisis point is going to be. And the thing that makes it difficult is St. Dane can change his appearance. So he can look like any specific person he wants to in said society and adapt very easily. So he camouflages himself very well. So it's kind of a cool concept. And they go to all these different worlds. Each book is one world. Okay. So each one has a unique story. You know, minor spoiler, they don't always succeed. So the good guys don't always win, which is what makes it the most intriguing.
I mean...
And it has serious consequences.
A real quick way to instill the concept of stakes is to occasionally have the hero lose.
Yeah, and it's really cool. There's a lot of really cool storylines, like Earth, for example, has actually 3 climax points. So there's first Earth, which is basically the Hindenburg.
Yeah.
The second Earth, which is our current modern day Earth, of course, 20 years ago now.
Yeah.
But, you know, pre-cell phone Earth. And then the third phase is a future version of Earth that is kind of humorously reminiscent of what we're kind of moving towards.
Oh,
in a good way. But it's really cool. Like the 4th book is about the society that's basically become metaversed.
Oh, shit.
Where everybody's basically put in a drawer and put on a feeding tube. And you just live in this virtual reality. And basically the climax point is, you know, prevent everybody from going into this thing. Or don't. And then the society basically kills itself, you know, in this virtual reality pyramid.
Yeah, you gotta stop that part of the Matrix.
Yeah.
You gotta not do it.
Yeah, it's really cool stuff, really thoughtful stuff. I didn't finish the whole series because I was in the Army by the time the last few books came out, so I never got back to it. But yeah, I really enjoyed those books. I think they're built perfectly to be a movie. Or, I mean, if you want to get real crazy and make, you know, I think it's like 12 or 13 books total. If you want to get real crazy, you can make 13 seasons of a show where each planet is a specific season, but I think that's probably a little risky because you're probably not going to be able to extend the show for 13 seasons.
I mean, if it's written well, which is always the caveat.
Yeah.
If you can...
You'd have to be really confident in your actors and actresses. And, like, he starts as a teenager, so, like... The character is obviously going to grow up, so if you have production delays or anything like that, suddenly you have this adult playing a teenage kid, you know, for a few movies or a few seasons until they finally get to the last few. But I think it's perfect for a movie series. I really do. I really think that DJ McHale should try to find a good studio that'll pay him to make those movies. And it was another one of those Scholastic Book Fair, you know, young adult novels that got everybody hyped, you know, by the covers, and it was cheap. It was like $10 per book, and they weren't like crazy big like Aragon, and yeah, really enjoyable. But tangent put aside, let's move on to the last piece of news from San Diego Comic-Con. Amazon Studios has acquired the rights to another Image Comics series. It is called 8 Billion Genies. It's fairly recent, and it was created by Charles Soule and Ryan Brown. The fairly new series will focus on a concept where, on one day, every single human being on the planet receives their own personal genie at the same time. The caveat, the genie will only grant one wish.
Each person gets exactly one wish.
One wish. Begin story. So you can imagine whether they're 8 billion people on the planet right now. If 8 billion people suddenly had one wish, whatever they want, all at the same time, how much havoc that would cause.
I mean,
it's kind of awesome.
There would have to be at least one world leader who, in like a fit of rage, wishes for the entire world to be destroyed. That seems like that's really an optimistic view that this would have more than one issue with this premise.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's an awesome idea.
Okay, yeah.
And
I might pick this up just to see where they go with this idea.
And obviously with things like Invincible and The Boys, Amazon has a good track record with this stuff. I imagine this will be very cool, very good. The one concern I have is that the series is relatively new. It doesn't have that many issues yet.
Doesn't have much of a stable to pull from.
Yeah, kind of like Berserker getting picked up. I don't remember who picked them up. We talked about it on the news last week, but these book series that don't have much content yet, maybe a little premature, but maybe it's preliminary. Maybe it's just, keep making your books and we'll hold on to the rights until we think it's the right time to start making, media.
Yeah. It's one thing to say that they've acquired the rights. It's another thing to say that they've started production. So hopefully they let the comic go a little longer before pulling the trigger on doing anything live action.
Yeah. So definitely looking forward to that. I have all the confidence in the world in Amazon. Quite frankly, I have more confidence in them than I do Netflix, because Netflix makes a lot of stuff, which I think is probably the issue. Is they're making too much stuff to maintain quality on every single project. But I think Amazon keeps their projects few and far in between and does them really well.
Yeah, I will say there is one series that Netflix has done pretty well. You've heard of Sweet Tooth, right?
I have, yeah. The comic book, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very good comic book, by the way. I know the show came out, but I never got around to it. Added to my backlog.
It's good.
Did they renew it?
I think it's official that it's been renewed.
Okay.
I don't think they have a release date yet, but I know it's official that a second season is coming.
Yeah, they also did Lock and Key, which I think they announced recently. Season 3 is coming, and it'll be the final season. Yeah, but I was really disappointed with that show. I thought it was. Yeah. I thought there was. Lock and Key has a lot of great stuff. It's a really good comic book made by Stephen King's son.
Yeah.
But I just thought the show was a little too PG. It wasn't doing the right thing, and I didn't like the actors and actresses very much. I didn't buy their characters enough.
It didn't really embrace the more suspense horror premise.
Yeah, and they're kind of leaning far more into the fantastical aspect of it. At least with the first season, I didn't watch beyond the first season, but I don't know. I was disappointed in that show. But the comic's great. If you get a chance to read the comic, definitely read Lock and Key. Next up, following Vince McMahon's departure, which we discussed in last episode, unfortunately it was right before the SmackDown after all of this got announced, so we didn't have a lot of details other than he was departing, obviously in shame, because he had been settling a lot of these sexual assault cases with former employees, essentially, and not even just wrestlers, executive staff employees, for sexual scandals and hiding affairs and stuff like that. The big problem is that he was using company money. He wasn't using his own money to settle these millions of dollars worth of lawsuits. And when you're a publicly traded company, you can't do that. So I imagine he's probably got a lot of lawsuits coming up and possible subpoenas from the U.S. government. But it was announced that his daughter, Stephanie McMahon, will be the new acting CEO of WWE, and his his son-in-law, Paul Levesque, will be the new head of creative. Of course, Paul Levesque is Triple H. I think, generally speaking, the wrestling community will probably agree that this is a great thing. They also recently announced that they're going back to TV 14 for their TV rating. So they'll finally be able to swear a little bit and do the stuff that they did, more or less in the Attitude Era. I wouldn't imagine lingerie wrestling is coming back. I think we've evolved past that point. But other than that, I think it's largely a positive. And Triple H being in charge of creative is definitely a good thing. He had such a good track record with NXT, which was their off-brand for developing talent, more or less, but it was largely indie wrestlers that had somewhat smaller body sizes and types that wouldn't be Vince McMahon's super huge, 6'5" type of dude.
I think this is a move that will hopefully lead to a continuing effort to improve the quality of the show, because as anyone who's been watching can tell you, WWE keeps losing wrestlers to AEW, and people are starting to notice.
Yeah, so I think this is probably the most positive thing that has happened with this company in a long time. Obviously, you got to give Vince McMahon his due. He obviously revolutionized the industry. He really built what we enjoy today. Without him, it'd probably still be some smattering of tiny companies like that. There's still small wrestling companies out there that do a decent product, but I mean, it's like it's just not at the same level,
right?
Both in terms of wrestling quality and in production value. AEW really put that to rest with their rise, but I think Vince McMahon finally stepping down. Stephanie McMahon was always, kind of the superior business mind. She's the whole reason WWE is so profitable today. And Triple H has such a good track record with what he did at NXT. I think it's giving a lot of fans hope that the product will get much better going forward. And the ones that did manage to stick around through the darkest of days may feel a little encouraged for their loyalty, I guess. I don't know.
Let's hope.
It's not like you can't enjoy both products, but
Yeah, that there was, I think what might have turned quite a few people off of WWE and onto AEW was the seemingly overcorrection, like away from, like, as we were joking about, like the wrestlers in lingerie and like making like lewd moves and even more lewd wrestlers.
They just went too far in the other direction.
It got way too safe.
Yeah.
It entirely too safe, and hopefully we can get back to the happy medium that was the beginning of the Attitude Era.
Yeah, I want to say it wasn't that long ago where WrestleMania was sponsored by Cocoa Puffs, which I'm sure they enjoyed having that money, but
right,
like I can't imagine a kid's sugar cereal sponsoring the old school like Attitude Era.
Oh, the era that had Degeneration X in it. Yeah.
It's just it just felt so wrong. And then you had Bailey the hugger. Oh god. Oh god. She's a good wrestler, but the hugging gimmick is just so cringe. When you're at least for an older watcher.
Hopefully this will lead to better days.
Yep. So, looking forward to seeing what WWE does. They had the most recent Raw already, and I've heard some good things about how they handle things, and SmackDown's currently going on. I've heard some good things about how they're handling SmackDown, so hopefully it encourages some of their former talent to come back and work under Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. But we will see.
Like either that or they're going to have to bring in a whole lot of new people that are able to level up what's going on with WWE right now.
Yeah, and I should state, there have been a lot of posts by former employees of Vince McMahon that have said, hey, I'm a woman. I never experienced any kind of sexual misconduct or, bad behavior towards me, So there's two stories to this. So
right.
It's possible that Vince is completely innocent. Probably not. But there's a chance. So we should probably give him his due and remember that, hey, there are people that want money out of him and
as with
cases, take advantage.
Yeah, as with cases like this, we just have to see what comes out in the wash. Because, I mean, the biggest case that we've all been completely inundated with, the Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp.
Yeah, I don't know if Vince McMahon is Johnny Depp, but he's been known as a wild man.
Yeah, He might not. Let the court figure that out.
Yeah, we're probably going to find out sooner rather than later whether we want to or not. Next up in the news, the movie rights to Tomb Raider, which last came out in 2018, is currently up for bid after MGM failed to produce a sequel in time to maintain the rights. So, in relation to this, it's reported that Alicia Vikander, who played Lara Croft in the 2018 movie, will also no longer be involved. So if there is a sequel, it will probably not be connected to the previous movie. I think the movie got mediocre reviews.
Mid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never saw it, I'm going to be honest. I like the video games, both the classic ones and the current ones, but I never got around to the movie.
Yeah, I mean, by the time the Tomb Raider games started to basically become the Ouroboros of, hey, we inspired Uncharted, but now we're copying Uncharted for some weird reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's... I wish whoever is going to be the new Lara Croft all the best. Hopefully they can do something that actually, excites and pulls people in as opposed to, well, being mid.
Yeah. We'll see what happens with it. Honestly, I think it would be smart for somebody like Paramount to hop on board with that. Obviously, they're coming out with the new Dungeons & Dragons movie. I mean,
and
Tomb Raider would be right up that alley of fandom. You could put it right on your streaming app after you put it in theaters and probably make a butt ton of money.
Against all odds, we're getting multiple Sonic projects. Literally against all odds, and they're good.
Who would have thought that Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic the Hedgehog 2 would be the best video game movies on the market? Like, it's not even close.
It's baffling.
It's ridiculous. They made an Assassin's Creed movie. They made a Prince of Persia movie. They made multiple Doom movies. They've made Resident Evil movies out the ass.
All of which...
Silent Hill movie.
All of which should have been an easier translation.
Yes, by far.
Sonic the Hedgehog? That's where we actually got it right? What?
Yeah.
What?
Of course, I'll never rest until they premiere Edgy the Hedgy.
Shadow the Hedgehog. He's coming in the third one.
Yeah. Well, we need Edgy the Hedgy quickly after that. So there better be a fourth movie. And I better get Jim Carrey.
I need someone to accidentally try to touch Shadow the Hedgehog and just say, ow, the edge.
You're a sharp individual, aren't you?
Ow. Ooh. So edgy.
I like how it hurts. Please submit your somewhat sensual Sonic the Hedgehog fan art.
No,
straight to Emery's
we
inbox,
just
please.
got out of the Dark Ages. Don't you dare.
Hit us up at...
also, don't you dare.
hitthebooksvids@gmail.com.
No.
Please send us your fan art.
Oh, my God.
So I can put it on the desk and decorate.
If you do, I'm immediately forwarding it to Paramount.
Don't you dare. You can tweet at us at HTBvids or send it to us on Facebook /hitthebooks. Please do.
No. Yes. No.
Yes. Next up on the news. This is kind of a lighter thing. In response to several questions, Microsoft's head of gaming, Phil Spencer, said that his most anticipated game was not an Xbox title, but God of War Ragnarok, via an interview from the official Xbox Twitter account.
I mean, congratulations for recognizing quality when you see it.
Seems like a poor business move. I'm not a CEO, but, But yeah, I thought that was... I mean, it's extremely endearing because it's like, hey, I'm up front. Like, I enjoy video games. I actually play these. I'm not just some suit. So, like, hey, like the one I'm looking forward to is, one of my competitors. But you know what? They make a good product, and I gotta respect it.
Maybe this might be a wink, wink, nudge, nudge to some of these developers for Microsoft to make something that competes. Competition is supposed to breed excellence.
Yeah.
Guys, someone can rise up. Honestly, as many times as it's been done, an action game that's been done from the Resident Evil 4 over-the-shoulder perspective, guys, we've been kind of doing that kind of game to death.
Yeah.
You could do it.
They definitely could.
Yeah.
They definitely could. I thought it was interesting. I thought there may be some undertones there. Obviously, we've had several titles from, older titles from PlayStation that used to be exclusive get passed on to PC, which obviously Microsoft has all the play there. And then there's also been some games that actually came to Xbox in remastered form. So clearly there's some give and take going on there. I'm sure Sony doesn't want to lose access to the Elder Scrolls series and stuff that's been on their platforms for a few generations now.
They're just not getting Starfield.
Well, there's nothing you can do about that. You can beg and plead as much as you want. That's a big, brand new exclusive title. You're not getting it. But in a numbered series, I could see them playing ball. Like, here's a few of our old games that we're not making money on anymore. Let us have Fallout 5. Okay.
Fallout Newer Vegas.
So I think it's probably a good sign for the gaming industry in general that he's so open to praising his competitors and not afraid to address the elephant in the room.
Saying that actually gives off an air of saying that from a position of strength, that's good for Microsoft.
Yeah. So, perhaps we're reading too much into this. Maybe he was just like, hey, I'll be honest. Yeah.
It's like,
I think it looks cool. Yeah, I'll add this. And now, obviously, he put other titles on the different aspects of the questions, but that was his most anticipated. Moving on. In related news, Sony reported profits being up 3% last quarter, despite the COVID lockdowns and supply chain issues. However, most of that $1.6 billion of quarterly profit was from their music division, their movie division, and their streaming, which led the sales. Video games and technology still were profitable, but fell off dramatically. This is largely due to the effects of COVID, the effects of shutdowns in Shanghai, the shortage of specific chips, which they need to produce their PS5s. Now, all that being said, they're selling and producing their PS5s faster than they sold and produced the PS4, which is ridiculous that people still can't get a hold of one when they're producing more than they produced of the PS4, which you could find.
Yeah. I did actually see, in contrast to that, I did go to a GameStop today to replace a controller that was experiencing drift. And it did say that there were available bundles of the PS5 and the Xbox Series X.
That's GameStop's key move. That's how I got mine early on.
Yeah.
I couldn't get it anywhere. I was doing the refreshes and everything. Every time I had like the auto trackers like notifying me when something was back in stock, and I'd go immediately to try to get it. Could not get one standalone. I had to buy like an $850 bundle. And I basically just sold the Call of Duty game. I can't remember which one it was, but Call of Duty game I didn't want. So I was like, I'll sell it for $50, $10 discount to whoever buys it, and I'll enjoy the rest of it. So that's how I got my PS5. But I imagine if you want a standalone one still, you may still struggle.
Yeah.
I mean, we're years into this at this point, so it's kind of disappointing.
I mean,
it's a good sign for the video game industry because the demand is clearly still there and it's stronger than ever. But yeah, not good for the supply chain.
Yeah. Hopefully hopefully we can get those numbers back up.
Yep. And it's worth noting that Sony said they still predict that their fiscal year profit to fall from $6 billion last year to $6.6 billion this year due to the various global issues and rising costs, although they are seeing costs come down. Next up on the news, it has been leaked that one of the main characters of upcoming Grand Theft Auto 6 will be female, and the game will feature 2 bank robbers in Vice City inspired by Bonnie and Clyde. The release window is unannounced, but is expected to be late 2023 or mid-2024. So, thought that was cool. There have been female protagonists in the series, but never in the main lines. They've always been in one of the
DLC
portable,
or something like that.
Yeah, portable games. So this is really cool. It'll be pretty neat to see an alternate take from Grand Theft Auto, as it's usually very masculine, like to the nth degree for obvious satire and humor reasons. But I'll be interested in seeing how they manage having a female protagonist, because I can see how this could go horribly wrong.
I think I speak for most of the Grand Theft Auto fandom when I say it'll finally just be nice to move on to number 6.
Yeah,
we've been on Grand Theft Auto 5
getting
since
remasters.
I'm pretty sure
that game
Grand
came out in
Theft
2013, right?
Yeah, on like the consoles before the PS4.
We're approaching a decade of Grand Theft Auto 5, and people are still playing it. But speaking of which, that was one of my backlog games that I finally completed on my sabbatical before we restarted the show.
Yeah.
That game sucks. That game does not hold up. Like, I know people have fun with the streams and the like online GTA, but boy, that game did not age well.
It's
just as tanky and hard to control and annoying to play as
the
any
player
of the GTAs.
interface is like you're moving a person through molasses.
Oh, it's rough. And
Yeah.
the shooting gameplay is terrible. It's so bad. I hope they dramatically change the control scheme in the new game. I really do.
I hope they learn something.
That's so bad.
That's the thing.
I mean,
It's made by Rockstar, and while I love Red Dead Redemption 2, it's very clear that the control scheme is still as clunky as it was from the first Red Dead Redemption, which means...
I mean, they're making money hand over fist, so please, just take a moment. Fix your controls. There's multiple examples of it being done better. Please make your game more enjoyable to experience.
Yeah,
I enjoy the cinematic stuff. It's humorous. It's funny. I like your satire. I like it all. But please, the game controls like shit. It's so bad. Please fix it.
Well, we'll see if they do. If there's one thing you can count on from like big companies, it's that they don't change anything unless they absolutely have to.
Yeah. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. We're making money. All right. But I think it's broke.
If people keep buying it.
Yeah. Next up, this is a weird piece of news. The MTV Music Awards will debut a category for Best Virtual/Video Game Concerts. This includes Metaverse concerts and the COVID remote concerts that happened during COVID times. The nominees for 2022 include Ariana Grande, Blackpink, BTS, Charlie XCX. I don't know if there's a better way to pronounce that. And Justin Bieber and 21 Pilots. 5 of the 6 nominees held their performances in video games. For example, BTS held a concert in Minecraft as block characters. And Ariana Grande had a big concert in Fortnite where people were basically battling a demon in a biplane while flying around this aquatic concert stage where a Fortnite version of Ariana Grande performed.
What?
This is a thing.
What?
This is a thing, and it's not a small thing. For example, Travis Barker held a concert in a virtual metaverse setting and had 12 million people watching and participating. This is the future, old man. The future is now, old man. Get with the times, Emery.
See, you say that.
So going back to Pendragon.
You say that, and yet this whole... Let's do this thing that we used to do live with people actually in front of us this whole time and appeal to the children and let's go to them and meet them where they're at in a game like Minecraft where we don't even have to make our characters look any kind of photoreal or anything.
There's nothing forcing you to actually perform.
Nothing!
It's a program.
Literally nothing!
Like... You could put pre-recorded audio in there.
Fucking Ariana Grande.
You don't have to match the animations. You know, it's not like they're in there with a virtual reality helmet, like going like this in Fortnite. Like,
Ariana Grande in that ADHD mess of a game called Fortnite. I get to say it because I have that now. Shut up. What are we doing?
It's so weird. I gotta admit though, if I was like a kid or a teenager and my favorite artist was having some kind of virtual concert, like I didn't have money, like I was a super poor kid, and like there was no way I was gonna get concert tickets somewhere. So if I could load up my PS2 back in the day and then be immersed in this like somewhat realistic version of the group I like in a live setting with other participants, like that'd be kind of cool. I can see the appeal.
I cannot. And I'm gonna tell you why. If I'm paying for a concert and what's given to me is some sort of pre-recorded program for me to watch, that's not a concert. That's a music video with extra steps!
It's a 3D music video, basically.
It's a 3D music video giving you the illusion of presence. Guys!
Hence, the Music Video Awards. This is the new MTV.
I hate how accurate it is. This is so goddamn stupid.
Yeah, I mean, it's neat that this is even a possibility. I don't know if it's necessary. I'd much rather have, and I know a lot of groups were experimenting with this. I would much rather have an experience where you put on a VR headset and there's like, you know, they could put 3-dimensional cameras at various spots throughout the crowd and just let you
be
go
in
from
there.
spot to spot, look around. You're listening live. You can hear in one ear, and you know there's obviously a 3-dimensional audio that gives you some kind of feedback as to where your location is and makes it feel like you're actually there. That would be great, not only for people that can't go to these concerts. Like, my favorite band of all time is Led Zeppelin. They did a reunion concert. The only time they've reunited for like a full group band, you know, and they included Jason Bonham, who's John Bonham's son, on drums. They did one concert in 2007. I think it was in London, and it was basically for a charity. And it was
you do.
It was like such a cool thing that these guys got back together and performed. And they basically written off the band the moment John Bonham died. And it sucked for me as such a huge fan that there was no chance in hell. I mean, like, tickets were literally going for like $1 million at one point for resale value because people were so desperate to see them this one time. You know, I wasn't even born when Led Zeppelin was in their heyday touring the country, you know. So if I could have had that experience in a VR helmet, that would be amazing. That would be incredible. If they had set up 3-dimensional cameras throughout that stage and I could just put on a VR headset and experience that myself as if I was there, that would be invaluable to me. And I would pay a lot of money to have access to that. I really would. So I think there is a cool value there. And then you think about like people that are disabled that just, they can't physically go to the concert for whatever reason. Hey, you can put on some VR glasses and go for a ride and like really enjoy yourself and experience things in life that you wouldn't have otherwise been able to experience. Now, that being said, do I need to experience Led Zeppelin in Minecraft? No, I do not. I never want to do that. Please don't do that. So I think there's a fine line somewhere where, obviously the video game takes are probably more directed for younger audiences that probably do have ADHD because you can't focus on the concert. You got to shoot this demon thing in your biplane while the concert's going on because you'll just be too bored and you'll fidget. It's there's a lot of things. There's a lot to unpack here.
Do you know that the Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of God, I can't talk. I'm so mad. Did you know?
Why are you so upset, old man?
Did you know that Episode 9 of Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker, has a part of that movie that you could only have seen for a limited time in Fortnite?
What? This is a thing? No.
How the
I
Emperor...
did not watch this movie because I gave up on Star Wars.
Yeah, that was smart. How the Emperor announced his return was through a fucking Fortnite event.
Ow. That kind of hurts my soul.
These games...
Are you sure about this?
Yes.
100%?
I've seen
no doubt.
I've seen the footage. I have seen it.
That is so fucking dumb.
Call me an old man all you want. There needs to be...
They content gated you.
Yes!
Oh,
the sons of bitches content gated me.
Oh,
there needs to be a very clear bifurcation in the arts when it comes to how we roll out our content. And God damn it, we need to be gatekeeping everything of value out, not into, out of Fortnite.
Oh man, that's
that
cringe.
is not the venue to have anything of value.
Yeah, I don't have anything against Fortnite as a game.
I do.
I'm annoyed because it's free to play and it just milks the same people for money to no end for basically nothing. It's a little bit predatory. Yeah, it's a lot predatory.
I was gonna say it's more than a little predatory,
but I don't have any issues with it existing. What I do have issues with is content gating. You'll put part of the fucking movie behind a video game that, most of the audience is not going to experience.
Okay, part of a major blockbuster movie being content gated, that's fucking bad. When I hear that there's an entire other section of art that's trying to make their way into the same fucking spot where no one pays attention in the first fucking place...
Yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem.
Guys,
we have concerns.
The point of being in a band, looking at it from the band perspective, is that you're playing in front of people who are actually there who can enjoy it. Now, mind you, I do appreciate that there are some extenuating circumstances for people who cannot show up. That being said, those extenuating circumstances could very quickly, if we're not careful as a society, become the basis for completely eliminating in-person events.
Man, you gotta read Pendragon. you gotta at least read through book 4.
I mean,
they're easy. They're easy reads. I mean, they're made for young adults.
Is book 4 just a Matrix prequel?
Yeah, but it's good.
Because I was gonna say I've seen the Animatrix. I know how this shit starts.
That movie's not good though.
I mean,
this is a much more pleasant experience.
I mean,
it was pretty.
Animatrix is not a high bar.
It was pretty.
It was a very pretty artistic attempt at let's do anthology stories for this universe that we created. That let's not release content like that on fucking Fortnite.
Yeah, please don't. Moving on.
Thank God.
Are you okay over there?
No. You brought up Fortnite. I tried.
All right, let's go.
Let's move on.
Lower your blood pressure, old man. You good?
If I never hear about Fortnite again, it'll still be too soon.
And there he goes again.
Old man yelling at clowns, I know.
Next up on the news, the creator of Xbox, Seamus Blackley, revealed that he developed a pitch for a video game called Jurassic World back in 2012. That project involved Steven Spielberg and had a green light. However, the game was upended by changes in leadership at Universal. So the pitch was turned down, but eventually became the basis of the 2015 reboot movie by the same name. I thought that was pretty cool. Nice little piece of history that came out, and it was released via Twitter. Basically, Blackley just telling the story over Twitter, which I thought was really cool. I don't know if it was tied to like an AMA or anything, but pretty interesting. The movie, I think most people would agree was somewhat underwhelming. It was the best of the new trilogy, but it's certainly not great.
I'm going to quote Dr. Ian Malcolm right now. You were so concerned about whether or not you could, you didn't stop to think about whether or not you should. Guys.
They made money. That's all they care about.
We already got to Jurassic Park 3 with no one learning the lesson. We did not need to start a whole new trilogy with no one learning the lesson.
Yeah.
Oh
I mean,
God.
It makes sense that movie came from a video game idea.
I mean, the way it was written, it definitely plays like a fucking video game.
Yeah. I mean, there's boss battles and everything. Like, it all makes sense. But I kind of think it would be cool to seen the video game interpretation rather than the movie.
It should have been a video game.
It probably would have been pretty awesome.
Yes, like actually playing like
as a video game.
It's like a God of War style. Current God of War style, Jurassic World game where you have to be the guy who has to wrangle all of this shit and then slowly unfold a story where you realize that once again, no one has learned the fucking same lesson.
Well, see, you know how he kind of like trains the raptors and like sort of befriends them?
That seems like a fucking video game mechanic.
It is a video game mechanic. I believe you know Shadow of Mordor.
Oh, no.
We need the Nemesis system.
Oh, no.
In the Jurassic Park World movie. And you just befriend these dinosaurs and recruit them. And then they kill the other dinosaurs above them in the hierarchy of the island. And you slowly build your raptor army.
Oh, God. They should do, like... If you're going to do the Nemesis system, you got to make it a TV series where the ones that you try to take out, you fail a couple of times and they remember you.
That would be amazing. I please make a Shadow of Mordor style Jurassic Park game.
Please, I fucking dare you.
That would be incredible.
Go back to the fucking park one more time. See what happens.
It'd be so dumb, but I'd be so on board for it.
Also, just completely abandon the locust thing. Guys, this is a thing about dinosaurs. Let's keep it to the dinosaurs without adding anything else stupid.
Speaking of video game news, a recent leak has revealed that an open-world single-player Black Panther video game is currently in development at EA. The game will follow the death of the most recent Black Panther, and the role player will fill the title and progress through the game. It is allegedly called Project Rainier at EA and is in early development by the newest studio lead at EA, Kevin Stevens, who also worked on Shadow of Mordor and War. Ha! Look at that.
Yeah.
Tied it together.
Hey.
That was totally intentional. And Batman Arkham City. In comparison, as far as Marvel video games, we also know that Insomniac, obviously a completely different company, studio working for Sony, is developing Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine. So, a lot of potentially great games coming from the Marvel Cinematic Universe / Marvel Comic Universe. So, look forward to that.
I'm worried. EA
is a problem. I can't lie. They have not had a good track record of late, but the concept sounds cool. I think that if they execute well, it'll at least have a nice level of, polish on the surface. Whether there's depth there and whether there's stability in the game, that's a big question.
The thing that makes me worried is that they know how to make a good game. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is an example of that. That being said, this game could very easily be monetized into oblivion.
Yeah, that is a concern. But I think that concern is lessened, assuming these rumors or these leaks are valid, that it's a single-player focused game.
Right.
Because I imagine...
It would be a little harder to monetize a single-player game.
Exactly. And you think like most recent examples with Square Enix and their attempt at Avengers... And they tried to make it like a cooperative multiplayer experience where they could monetize shit, and then they also had the single player stuff that was that was pretty gross, pretty bad.
It was pretty bad, but then following that game, they release a really good one with Guardians of the Galaxy. Yep. So, I mean,
they learned their lesson.
It's clearly on display that they know how to make a good game. They just need to learn how to not overshadow the good game that they have with the bad game that they tried to monetize into oblivion.
Yeah. So we'll see. I get why people are hesitant to trust EA with just about anything, but there's no doubt that they have a lot of talent. They have a lot of good ideas often, but they're greedy bastards. It's just a fact of life that we live with when we deal with EA.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Cross your fingers.
Fix Battlefield, please.
They're not gonna.
Battlefield.
You already know they're not gonna.
Oh, man.
You want something to compete with Call of Duty, and it's not gonna happen.
Why? Battlefield used to be so good.
Hover,
now it's always broken.
Hovercrafts floating up skyscrapers. You knew what this was.
We don't need to call hovercrafts on the top of a skyscraper as an airdrop and just decimate everybody with no recourse. And then you shoot people and it doesn't do anything because it doesn't register. It's just so broken.
Can't we just drop a rod of
like
God?
There's like one rifle that works.
We need to just drop a rod of God from space. Just lay waste, start over. We'll call it Battlefield 2043.
Nailed it.
1 year later, we learned.
Your sequel's very tight. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what EA is doing. I hope they turn the corner soon because they are a large entity and they are responsible for a lot of the video games we enjoy. Yeah. So I hope they do a good job. Next up on the news, A new upcoming comic has been making some noise in the controversy realm. Created by Eric July, founder of Ripaverse Comics, and artist Gabe El-Taib, the new comic Isom is about a man named Avery Silman, a Texas rancher who was formerly a superhero. Why is it making such a big noise on the circuit, especially for a small indie comic, I assume? The creators were interviewed on Fox News and stated they didn't want to beat people over the head with stuff like social justice. That's in quotes. El-Taib stated, quote, "I made it to DC Comics and made it to Superman. My little boy dream came true, but they made him woke," end quote. Obviously, this led to a lot of chaos on the internet.
Of course it did.
I think it's fair to say that you, Nick, and I are all fairly progressive people.
Fairly, yeah.
Fair to say. But I don't think we can deny that things have maybe been a little too far in
heavy-handed.
Heavy-handed is the correct word. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that these things aren't worth pursuing and don't have a place. But I think you're right. I think recent history, the past maybe 10 years of comic books, and of course I'm talking specifically comic books right now, have been drenched in just like preaching to you. And sometimes you just want to shut your brain off. Like if you're reading, about Spider-Man, like maybe you don't need to have like the entire history of some social injustice. We acknowledge those things are there, but we go into some of these books, not all of them, some of them have a point, but more often than not, like we go into these books to have an escape from the world. When we feel defeated, when we feel that there are injustices in the world that we just can't do anything about right now, and we just want to relax and turn our brains off and kind of reset so we can tackle the next day, we go to our comic books, as a form of entertainment. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, to not necessarily want politics in our, casual layback books where we just want to be sent into some kind of fantasy world and just turn our brain off and have a good time. I think there's a place for that. And I think probably that's what these creators were getting at in this interview. But of course, because it was on Fox News, they got to push it 24 hours a day.
Not only that, but you already know what you're going to get.
And it's worth saying for people that are unaware, the comic features a prominent black character. The book is created by a black writer who I think is also a rapper and Middle Eastern artist.
He's a rapper and also a heavy metal artist. And this is
does a lot of stuff.
Fairly young guy, undertaking something like this that has, when you look at the numbers, this thing shot up real quick.
Yeah, like I said, this is a very small startup comic company with 2 established creators. Both of them worked for DC, I believe, at some point. The artist for sure, but I think Eric July also wrote some for DC. So it's not like these guys are coming out of nowhere. They have clout. Obviously, they're both ethnically diverse people, so it's not even like you can say they're white supremacists or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
But if you look on the internet, that's what a lot of people are saying, which is almost ridiculous. It's really absurd.
I mean, it's getting pretty ridiculous what the crux of the ongoing narrative around not even the book itself. The book hasn't even come out to say anything about yet.
Yeah.
But what's being said about the writer and the artist, I gotta say it's got very little to no basis in any kind of factual statement, which is... guys, if you're going to make an argument, you got to make one that actually has some sticking power.
Yeah. So, I don't think that they were trying to make a particularly profound statement with their interview, but obviously that's not what happened.
Or at least that's not the way it was taken.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what happens. I'm curious to see if like the industry just boycotts it and like they go down in flames, even if the comic is good. I mean, we can only judge the artwork right now from what we've seen on the previews, but the artwork looks really good. We know that the creators are established and have some clout, so I imagine the book will be, decent to good, hopefully great. But I also wonder if like this ends up being kind of the opposite, and they're doing this kind of intentionally to stir up some controversy to get the press, because any press is good press, especially when you're a startup, right?
Right.
So, they're probably going to get eyes on the book that they wouldn't have gotten otherwise. Most people probably wouldn't have realized the book came out at all, So it's weird because you don't know how much of this is like a legitimate effort to make a statement about the comic industry, and you don't know how much of this is just business tactics to drum up some support from savvy creators, and you don't know how much of it is just them saying something that was probably supposed to be taken at a much more docile tone than what it got propagated up with particularly conservative media outlets.
Right. That
it's interesting.
The discourse on the writer and the artist aside, because I'm a fucking renegade, have actually ordered ISOM #1.
Really?
Not only have I ordered ISOM #1, I plan on doing a review to see if this writer and this artist managed to put their money where their mouth is.
Yeah. So no pressure.
No pressure.
No pressure.
It's only a #1.
I mean, honestly, it only benefits everybody if it's good. So I hope it's good. Just for comic creators and businesses in general. It's nice to have more good content out there, regardless of whether they're trying to make a message about woke or lack of thereof in our industry.
Messaging aside, you said it about the gaming industry. I'll say it about the comic book industry. Competition breeds excellence. Let's see what the boy has.
Yeah. Put up or shut up.
Yeah, that's right. Put up or shut up.
Because we matter.
Because we totally matter.
Our opinions matter here.
Yeah. Look, I'm feeling real macho. I just watched like the end of The Boys.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh man. I haven't finished it yet, but it starts off with a bang, doesn't it?
Oh God, you used the word bang.
Next up on the news, Image Comics is releasing a humble bum. I'm gonna edit that out.
You flubbed that one.
I sure did because I spelled it wrong. I put bumble on the spelling instead of bundle.
Humble bumble.
Humble bumble.
That sounds like the saddest. That sounds like the saddest dating app I've ever fucking heard.
Oh no! I just liked you on Humble Bumble. Please date me.
Like, it's just me, and just
I'm a little overweight,
and
but
just,
I'm kind of nice.
I'm just average.
I can be lazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really motivated, but
Yeah.
I like to have someone to talk to.
Yeah. It's just someone to watch shows with.
Yeah.
Talk about books.
I won't rub your feet, but
no.
I don't know. Maybe I'll wave at you once in a while.
Yeah, I'll think it's a good idea, but I won't do it.
That's the perfect quote for the Humble Bumble. I'll think it's a good idea, but I won't do it. Man, you are a t-shirt generating machine. We need to find somebody to make these t-shirts.
I'm t-shirt Captain America. I could do this all day.
I love it. It's so good. All right. That's I don't even know if I'm going to leave this in now. I might not even edit this out. Maybe
no, leave it in.
No, it's staying in.
That's what she said. God. I'm the worst.
He is. I would apologize, but I don't care. All right, so let's try this again. So Image Comics is releasing a Humble Bundle for Image Comics' 30th anniversary and will include a bunch of iconic volumes of Spawn, The Darkness, Savage Dragon, Invincible, and Witchblade. It will allow you to choose what you want to pay, which is the coolest part of this. The comics come in various file formats, obviously not physical, that can be read on both computers and cell phones, and a portion of the proceeds will go towards the Book Industry Charitable Foundation, which helps employees and owners of bookstores and comic shops with financial and medical service needs. The promotion will end on August 18th. It's my birthday.
You just had to do that, didn't you?
Yeah, that's the only reason I put that in there. But it's my birthday.
Thank you, Roar. I was about to say Roar Thagnarok.
See, you can join the Humble Bumble. And you guys can Netflix and chill with Thor. What'd you say? Thor. God.
Yeah. You can swipe left or left on Humble Bumble. And I like to Chetflix and nil.
Orange Cassidy would be great on Humble Bumble. He'd be the star. He'd be the spokesman of Humble Bumble.
The only man to ever swipe down.
Oh, yeah. But going back to the news topic at hand, this is an awesome endeavor. Obviously, we always say, support your local comic book shops wherever you can. Obviously, we're not a comics-focused show every week anymore like we used to be, so we don't get to say it as often because we don't have the opportunity to say it. But we really do love it when we see you out and about along with us at our local comic book shops here in Columbus, Ohio. There's a bunch of great ones.
Yeah.
Dragon's Lair just opened up nearby. It's Comic Town, also close to me up here in Polaris and Westerville. You got World's Greatest Comics, which is a great store, and really it's gotten even better than it used to be. It's always been a great store, but they got a new space, and it's really, really nice. Laughing Ogre, obviously iconic hero in games down in downtown.
Yeah.
Crazy Comics over on the east side of the city. Really, really great local comic book shops that really have good service, great people working there, and this charity helps benefit those people. And it was crucial. I think it became most prominent during COVID when people obviously were losing their jobs and people couldn't physically go to pick up their pools like they used to, and comic books shops were doing different types of sales tactics to try to stay afloat. I know World's Greatest Comics, I really enjoyed what they did. They basically hosted an online auction for various books that they had in stock, specifically like collectible old books, and oftentimes like ones that weren't necessarily in the best condition, but they're really cool, really iconic pieces, so they could sell them, for cheaper, and then you'd auction them and have a good time. And it was more charitable than anything. You weren't looking to like make a buck or get a great deal. You were just supporting them with a few extra bucks on an auction bid, and it was fun. Like, it built the community, a really great time. Other comic book shops tried other methods, including, mailing comics to people and stuff like that. But yeah, it was interesting seeing how all these comic shops adapted, and this charity has been helping out nationwide, and it's great to see that Image Comics, which I think you'd probably agree has been making the best comic books and probably been the best influence on the comic book industry in recent years.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Image Comics does a wonderful job, and like we talked about all those shows we enjoy from Amazon, they come from Image Comics, So yeah, they do a wonderful job. Really love what they're doing. Really hope that they're successful with this Humble Bundle, especially with people paying what they want. Hopefully people feel charitable and want to support a good cause and get some good books.
Yes, and I can't think of really a better company with a better or more high-quality stable of work to pull from for something like this, especially at a pay what you can or pay for however much you want. Just
as a deal.
Yeah.
That's an outstanding deal.
Absolutely.
The value is through the roof. So definitely support that if you feel like indulging in your comic books. This is the one time I will permit you to use digital comics over physical comics because it supports a good cause and a good company. So really great to see. Well, Emery, that wraps up the news for today. So without further ado, let's award the prestigious, nay, life-changing award of Comic Cover of the Week from Hit the Books Podcast. This week, DC is the big winner with one of its variants. This is the Poison Ivy number 3. This is the Stanley Artgerm Lau cardstock variant cover, obviously done by Stanley Lau. This is interesting because Stanley Lau is a good artist. I would say a great artist. However, he often does not win because there is a pattern with his art that I think is very obvious for anybody that is a fan of Stanley Lau.
A pattern that is remarkably against all odds, not nearly as obvious this time around.
Which is part of the reason it won. But generally speaking, Stanley Lau, wonderful artist. Nothing wrong with this, by the way. It is what it is.
Yeah.
He is known for creating kind of 3D style artwork with ridiculous proportions, specifically in the bosom.
I won't say ridiculous because women like that do exist, but as you said, we saw a pattern.
There's a pattern.
There's definitely a pattern.
Just do a quick Google search. You might have to turn safe search off and look up Stanley Artgerm Lau artwork. And you will see that the vast majority of it is little tiny waist, big giant titties. And generally speaking, almost completely exposed. You don't see the nipple, but there's a lot there.
I mean,
and there's nothing, like I said, nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
We don't kink shame here.
No, we do not.
Yep. I mean, I talk all the time about how Stepan Sajic is doing my favorite artwork in the industry right now as a modern artist. And he's known for Sunstone and making lewd art on Twitter. So I have no room to talk. But this particular cover, he showed a lot of restraint. And in doing so, I think not only did himself justice, but the comic industry in general justice. This cover is incredible looking. It is beautiful. It obviously plays a lot with the various plant life that Poison Ivy exposes herself and creates to. And it's not that 3D rendered look that you see like in a video game or in like those goofy like posters you see advertised, for like pinup art and stuff,
Right.
This is high quality looking art, and it's all high quality and it all takes a lot of effort. I don't want to take anything away from his artwork, but this in particular rings true to what he can do and what he can represent, and I really think it's a great cover. With a lot of I don't know. It's so colorful. It's so vibrant.
It's strange. That's the thing.
Yeah.
With this cover, it looks so strange and otherworldly, while at the same time also giving Poison Ivy, of all characters, the image of what it would look like to actually like level up And somehow, against all odds,
this is the final boss.
Yeah.
Poison Ivy.
This
third stage Poison Ivy.
This is final boss. Well,
This
I
is
would
when
say
the Latin music starts playing.
Oh God, yep. This is when you hear chanting choir chorus music.
Yeah.
Right before this lady is about to kill you in like 1 to 2 hits, Dark Souls style. This is the kind of artwork that I would never expect. I didn't expect it. It took me by surprise, and it completely changed the way that I looked at this character.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a great piece of art. I would love to have this as a print or something like that hanging up on my wall in a big blown up fashion. I mean, obviously I'm going to find the comic and I'm going to enjoy the comic. But I would love to have this blown up. It's such an awesome piece of art, and I hope that Stanley Lau takes more chances like this in the future. I mean,
yes.
I get it. Big titties sell. It's just a fact.
Yeah. Somehow Boundless keeps making comics.
Libido exists. We get it. But I think this is incredible stuff, and I really hope to see more of it because it's just awesome, and I want more. I want more, Stanley.
Yes. Like, I want... This made me reevaluate what's possible with the character so hard that I want that design for Poison Ivy moving forward.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That really would.
Yeah.
It's worth noting that we did also give a different Poison Ivy variant cover comic of the week probably 4 episodes ago. So they're doing something right. Like they're producing good stuff with these variants, and like even the normal covers look really good. So really cool. I mean, Poison Ivy is obviously, a fan favorite as far as aesthetics go and design.
Yeah.
So it's ripe for any kind of artist to step in and really have a good time being creative. But really thought that was cool. Really, really good artwork from Stanley Lau. Hope to see more. I thought it would be nice just to add the description in these reviews, obviously, since we're not going through every new comic that's been released this week like we used to. So as a nice gesture to, kind of put the word out there, I thought it'd be nice if we award a cover of the week that we read the description for the issue. So this one, fixing the world isn't easy work, and Ivy's all hot and sweaty because of it. Getting her hands dirty was never an issue, but when plant assassins come after her, Ivy must be willing to play dirty as well. So clearly a lot of innuendo. Doesn't sound great. But the cover's awesome.
The cover's awesome. It doesn't sound like the interior is gonna meet the exterior where it's at, but you know what? Yeah. Hey, sometimes you just need someone like this, forward thinking with what's possible for this character to give you a cover that will lure anyone in. And if Poison Ivy is known for anything, it's being able to lure people in.
Yep. I mean, her whole gimmick is that she seduces people with her pheromones. So, yeah. I mean, makes sense. I get it.
It makes sense. But I just want doing cocaine comics to do a better job of writing.
The comics are generally pretty good, but I haven't read this series, so I don't know if it's actually good, but that description is terrible. They probably could have done a better synopsis.
Yeah. Guys, you gotta get a salesman in here to read these. Like, this could have been an easy sell. It really could have.
Emery does voice work.
Please hire me as one of the new good ideas that you guys have going.
We accept payment and cocaine.
They're not supposed to know that, goddamn.
Well, that's a good way to end the show then.
Yes, with the ATF looking for us.
They're coming after me. There's nothing I can do. Once again, want to thank you all for sticking with us and listening and watching another mediocre edition of Hit the Books podcast.
mediocre.
Thank you all for watching and listening. Be sure to hit us up on Twitter at HTBvids, at Facebook at /HitTheBooks. And you can always email us at hitthebooksvids@gmail.com, where you can submit questions for the show, any kind of constructive criticisms, or any ideas, or I don't know. What do I want to say? What do I want to say, Emery? I don't know what I want to end with.
Ideas, criticisms.
Sonic the Hedgehog, lewd fan art.
No, never that.
Give me Edgy the Hedgy. Getting edged.
No! You son of a bitch. You just...
Edgy the Hedgy getting a rim job. What do you think of that? Chili dogs.
I hate it here. This is where I live now. We're going to be inundated with this. I hope you know.
We'll see how the editing process goes, but it seems like everything went much smoother than normal with the new camera and new mic setup. So I hope you guys notice a difference at home. Please let me know in the comments, either on YouTube, on the podcast services, via email, or shout us out on Twitter or Facebook. Please reach out to me. Let me know what you think about the changes, about the setup changes. I'll probably rearrange the background to make it a little more aesthetic and a little more centered. You can't see it off camera, but there's a wall here that made me think that I would have to stagger this, and turns out I didn't. So now it just looks weird and off center. But I expect we'll probably have Nick back for the next episode. Once again, remember to check out their stream, Those Natural Ones.
Yep. Those Natural Ones on Twitch, and we will be uploading those episodes to YouTube.
Yep, and we've been trying to post the links also on our social media for Hit the Books. Those Natural Ones, I think, also has a Facebook, correct?
Yes.
Facebook.com/Those Natural Ones.
Yep.
Is that correct? All right, and they also have a YouTube channel, and then they archive their live streams on Twitch, so you can see those for, 60 days, 90 days, something like that?
I think it's something like that, but yeah, catch us live Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m.
All right, that's everything we got for this week. So thanks again for listening, watching, supporting. Be sure to hit like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. Give us a nice rating elsewhere: Spotify, iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, my favorite Stitcher, so love supporting them. So definitely reach out to us. Let us know if you got anything to offer, any stories you want us to tell, any input, you name it. I want Edgy the Hedgy.
No!
Thank you and goodbye. We'll see you next week.
Don't you dare send any Edgy the Hedgy edging. Stop.
Do it.
No.
Do it.
No.
Do it.
Kill me. I'm right here. I'm T-shirt Captain America. I could do this all day.